Is this thing on? I'm gonna like film the whole thing like this. Because it's spooky. We're doing a horror movie, so this is like what Riddick sees, isn't it? Yeah, fuck it. We're going ethereal, foggy window for this one. Oh, nah. Welcome back. I haven't made a video in a really long time, and I'm bored at home. And I felt like making a video review of the movie Weapons. Went and saw it last night, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get into it.
But today was different. Every other class had all their kids. But Mrs. Gandy's room was totally empty. And you know why? Because the night before, at 2:17 in the morning, every kid woke up, got out of bed, walked downstairs, and into the dark. And they never came back.
The movie, but God, I feel like I'm doing the Trump hands a little bit. Yeah, keep looking at the camera, doing the fucking. The movie Weapons. The movie Weapons was directed by Zach Cregger, who had his first real foray into the horror-verse with the movie Barbarian, which was a recent horror film that I actually really liked. And you may also know him from the show The Whitest Kids You Know, which was one of my favorite sketch comedy shows growing up. And rest in peace, Trevor Moore. Suspicious. The story's set in a small American town that suffers a bizarre event where one night, in the middle of the night, for whatever reason, all the school children of one particular class get up in the middle of the night, run out the door, and are never to be seen again. For the most part, the protagonist of this film is the character of Justine Gandy, who is played by Julie Garner, who you might know from Ozark, who plays the teacher of the class of students that seem to disappear. Although Justine is the main focus of the film, what the film does do is offer you multiple perspectives from different characters that are in the periphery of Justine's life. So you can see all different perspectives of what's happening and how they view one another and how they're all uniquely dealing with this bizarre and traumatic event. A couple notable mentions of these characters are you get Josh Brolin's character of Archer Graf, who plays one of the distressed parents of one of the children who have disappeared, seeking justice, who is very suspicious of the teacher of the class, Justine Gandy. Another awesome appearance is you get Benedict Wong playing Marcus Miller, who is the principal of the school where all of these children have disappeared. If I tell you too many of the characters, I do feel like, and how they intersect, I do feel like I ruined part of the movie. But the character of Gladys is just absolutely phenomenal. It's one of the highlights of the movie for me. So as these different plot lines and stories of each individual character overlap and intersect, you're seeing how they're not only dealing with the trauma of maybe their child disappearing or just generally the town feeling on edge. You're seeing how they're all uniquely working towards or straying away from working out what has actually happened to these children. Going into the movie, I will genuinely say I did not know much about the movie. That's been something that I've been trying to really stop myself from doing. I don't really like watching trailers, don't like reading reviews, which is ironic because I'm recording a review. But I think going in with as little knowledge as possible is fantastic for this movie because the way the movie shifts into the direction that it ends on is genuinely awesome. I think it introduces a unique element into the story that you genuinely just don't see coming. And it quite quickly turns from one kind of movie into a very different kind of movie. And at times, you know, certain elements like that can feel jarring, but this one I feel like pulls it off rather seamlessly. It was just genuinely a really good watch for the entire performance. I think the cast in this was absolutely fantastic. I think the acting in this is phenomenal. I think the cinematography is great. However, there are a couple of gripes that I do have with the movie. I do think going from the multi-perspective approach in cinema can be really good because it gives you a rare insight into how each individual character is analyzing a situation, how they're dealing with certain emotions. But in this one, the problem is you do end up seeing a lot of the same instances happening over and over again from multiple perspectives. And I think at the end, I think you see about 6 or 7 different perspectives of the same event, which can make the movie feel a little bit stuck in some places. However, once all these initial perspectives kind of collide, the movie does really just amp it up a lot and kind of make up for a lot of that lost time. But that is definitely my probably only gripe with the movie. Is I like when people go for unique storytelling approaches, and I think that the multi-perspective isn't exactly unique, but the way they do it in this is. I just think there's a lot of time overlap spent on the same event over and over again, and it can make the movie feel semi-slow when it really doesn't need to. But overall, this is genuinely one of my favorite horror movies I've seen in a really long time. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think the gore in this movie, which you don't expect to see, you see, is absolutely fantastic. And there's always something inherently even more terrifying when things involve children, whether it's children ghosts, children's disappearing. It just ignites something inherently more terrifying in you. And I don't feel like that's used as a trope in this. I feel like it's used to its advantage. And it's just a fantastic film. So I highly recommend giving it a shot. So check out the movie Weapons in a cinema near you. Thanks.